I'm Doug Johnson. I'm the Executive Director of the McLean County Arts Center. When I was in graduate school, Northwestern University hosted an exhibition of MFA candidates from around the state. When I was hired as the director here at the Arts Center, I realized that an exhibition like that wasn't active anywhere, and given our central location and our vital role as an arts agency, it would be a great opportunity for us to fill that void and offer an exhibition for those candidates at schools around the state. So beginning in 2004, we launched this exhibition, and 2016 now marks our 5th iteration of that show.
Emerging Illinois Artists is a juried triennial exhibition of Master of Fine Arts students from the state of Illinois. This year our juror was Kelly Schindler, the Associate Curator at the Contemporary Art Museum in St. Louis. She selected a Juror's Choice Award to receive a $500 cash prize as well as a solo exhibition in our Armstrong Gallery in 2019. 34 artworks were selected from 5 different schools in the state of Illinois.
My name is Kathy Shao, and I go to SAIC, which is the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. I'm a MFA student graduating this year in the class of 2016. I primarily work in installation, thinking about our lived experience of the physical environment in relationship to our bodies and our mental domestic space. And I work a lot with textiles, weaving. I'm in the fiber department, and also photography and wood and sound. I became interested in textiles. Although I don't have a BFA, I became very interested in how cloth is this soft structure that has a lot of metaphor and history, but its structure can also be amplified in a way that architecture can talk to you or sculpture can talk to you. So it's really exciting for me to be in between those worlds. And that's how I kind of got into that, and I decided to do fiber here at SAIC. So the triptych piece that's in the show, I've called Permutations 1, I Can Sing a C. And the title is based on some tagging that I had seen around my neighborhood. When I first moved to Chicago, I lived in Pilsen, and I really loved Pilsen. It reminded me of California, Los Angeles, where I had directly moved from. I'm from Taiwan, but I moved from LA to come to school here. And a lot of, again, my work is this idea of the performative desire for the natural lived environment within us when we come from maybe a more urban environment, and how that structure is now the predominant way of life for a lot of people around the world, and how then we have continued access and connection to the natural experience, quote unquote. And so weaving is this very traditional craft, but I really enjoy having it represent something like tagging or graffiti, which is not that traditional. And I use the jacquard loom, which is a machine loom, and I actually also make my own weave patterns. So I weave structurelessly in a way that takes noise data from the environment and transplants that noise data into a readable file for the machine loom, and then the machine is able to read it, and I still have to hand weave all of it, but the machine is able to lift the various heddles in a pattern that a traditional floor loom could never do. And so that's why I'm really interested in working with jacquard. I'm quite obsessed with the jacquard. Anyone that works with jacquard, I call it jacquardy. And we have a little cult here going, which I like. But yeah, it's a very interesting space. It's almost an impossible space between hand the intimacy of the hand and also industrial production. Just how I like to imagine the weaving as this intimate window between an outside environment translated inside.
I'm Ben Nicholson. I'm a first-year MFA in the Department of Visual Arts at the University of Chicago, and I design systems for performance and interactive installation. So, my piece, Black Pixel on White Emptiness, is originally based on a Malevich painting, Black Square. I'm not a big art history person, but learning about that painting was interesting to me. The most interesting part of it was that it seems to be something that simultaneously maybe non-art people think is a perfect example of how ridiculous fine art is. It's literally a black square on a white square, and it's very valuable. While at the same time, people who are artists or interested in art history can recognize historically why it might be important. So I thought it might be interesting if I made basically my own version of Black Square, which was a black square in the form of a black pixel, single black pixel in the center of a white screen. And that's my piece, designed as a website. And what the actual piece looks like is it's the artwork, the screen with the pixel, illuminating a visual representation of the code that actually produces the work. And so it's the website code and the website facing each other. So the code for the piece is very, very simple HTML and JavaScript code. All it's basically doing is it's looking at the size of your screen and saying, that's how big your screen is, we'll put the pixel, the black pixel, right in the middle. It doesn't really do anything else other than that. The nice thing is you can open it up in any browser and you'll get a nice pixel in the middle of whatever browser window you're using. You could open it up on your phone, you could open it up on a big screen, a small screen. It still works the same way. And the particular screen that I'm using for this particular installation of the piece has very large pixels to help you see the black pixel a little bit better. But you could use also an extremely large screen with small pixels where it's essentially invisible, which could be fun also.
My name is Dylan Yvonne Welch, and I'm a printmaking MFA student at Illinois State University. I have two pieces in this show. One is titled Inside Spaces 1, and that's a etching with some different hand processes. And the piece behind me is titled Network, and that's a combination of traditional etching processes and digital processes. In these prints, the modular element in my mind refers to different natural and organic processes that use really basic elements in this sort of endless recombinations to create totally different things. And I find that this sort of reference to biology and to science is important for it is the heart of the content, because I feel like there's this kind of infinite mystery in the world that we keep discovering more and more about the world, but there'll always be this side that we can't see, this sort of unknowable, mysterious side to nature. Okay. So for this piece, Network, I start with a copper plate and then use various traditional processes to get the various textures and marks onto the copper plate, and then I print that and scan it digitally. And then I can, from that basis, I can warp it, twist it, kind of adjust the image to get the kind of final piece, which I then print out via a beautiful, huge digital printer. Yeah, well, I was realizing that the work I was making, including the other piece, Inside Spaces, there was starting to be, I was starting to get interested in having different multiple perspectives within one piece, and the sort of illusion of depth and linear perspective, which is a little difficult to turn into. You can make that in one print, but I also enjoy using modular pieces. So with the traditional techniques, I can make a bunch of basic modular elements and then scan them in digitally and warp them to create kind of any shape I want that responds to different kind of like fluxes and perspective. And so that's how I made this one as well. I think what I see in a lot of this work is sort of a response to being kind of like digital people, or having a one foot in the digital world where all rules are off, and so we can put things on the floor, we can break things, as part of the artwork, which all these things are kind of important in art history. But I see that there's sort of no rules happening here, which is really nice, and I think is a testament to the creativity of these Illinois artists.